So I want to know. I want the full scouting report of Dan Dickau on the sidelines. Like when he's coaching an 11-year-old basketball team, I need the full scouting report, the full breakdown. Are you going crazy? Are you the guy cussing out refs and technical fouls? Have you been thrown out yet? Give me. I need the full scouting report.
No, no, no. So, I've got my son is an eighth grader. His group of buddies, they're freshmen now. We've had the group together for about 6, 7 years, and another dad and myself have coached it, and we've coached them pretty hard over the last 6 years or so. The best advice I was ever given was by John Stockton, and I was asking him, was like, hey, you coached your boys growing up. What's the best approach? He's like, coach them like it's game 7 of the NBA finals. It's like, all right, fine, let's go. So we coach them pretty hard in practice. We get after it. We expect a high level of intensity and focus and energy. Game wise, we expect you to do the things that we worked on in practice. But it's at the end of the day, it's a lot of fun coaching your boy and some of his buddies and seeing them improve over the years. But I've only gotten one technical, and that was in a tournament in Portland last year, President's Day tournament, Hoop Source. It's a pretty big tournament. In Spokane, basketball for youth is good, but you don't see the up and down style that you would in LA or Chicago or Seattle. So we're in Portland in a national tournament, and they call the game completely differently than they do in Spokane as far as officials with fouls. So we prepare our kids and we talk to them about it. Hey, you're not going to get fouled if you're driving the lane. You got to block out. They're not going to call over the back, all this stuff. And the official literally 1 minute in told me to sit down. And I looked at him. I said, well, you got to tell me what I'm complaining about. And he goes, seatbelt, don't get up again. And I had no idea what he was talking about. He gave me the seatbelt rule 1 minute into the game. And if I stood up again, I was kicked out of the gym. And I look over at the other coach that's coaching with me, and we both shake our heads, not knowing anything what's going on, because neither one of us had heard it. We'd never heard of the seatbelt rule.
Oh man. Hey, have you seen Fuey watching his kids play ball? Like, have you been around him when he's in the stands watching one of his, I forget, what does he have? I know he's got a son right now who is a son a senior in high school or freshman?
Yeah, Joe is at Gonzaga Prep. I believe he's a senior. Yeah. AJ's his oldest. I believe he's kind of helping out with the GU men's program. And then he's got a daughter who I want to say is fifth or sixth grade. Okay. And my son and her have played in a gym at the same time. And so I've gone over there and talked to Coach Few while he's watching. I've actually seen him coach her team one time when the other coach wasn't able to make it.
What was that?
And that was funny because after the game, I talked to him and I said, Coach, you kind of have a little different, kind of a energy level to you coaching here than you do during the season. And he just kind of rolled his head and, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, you're not up stomping your feet, yelling at the officials. You're just kind of taking it all in and, pointing and telling people where to go. But he got a chuckle out of that. But yeah, it's he's still intense with it, but not in the same way.
Yeah, I've always said this. I don't know if I've talked to you about this, but Few and I would argue years ago. He would argue with me that not that I was working too hard, but that I didn't have the right balance between family and work. Because I'm trying to break in the business. I'm working crazy hours. I'm trying to do a little bit of everything. And now he laughs at me because I totally understand. He was right. Like he's got it figured out more than any other coach in America because he's figured out the balance. And yet still being able to win at the highest level. And you look at other guys like Billy Donovan was a maniac. And we were talking about this earlier today. And Tom Izzo's out every single day in the summer. And Mark works when he needs to work, but he's not just doing it to do it, to say that he's in the office or to say that he's going to pick his spots. And I don't know. I feel like, again, a lot of coaches, if they had a chance to watch Mark Few and watch how he recruits and watch how he coaches and watch how he deals with his players, they'd learn a lot. They'd learn a lot about, again, balance and just understanding people.
100%. I can go back and think and remember times when I was at GU, we would get a message, hey, practice is bumped back an hour. Okay, well, why? Well, we find out later he wasn't going to make it back from fishing in time. So, they passed on the message. This was pre-iPhone. This was like, you got the text, you got the ABC, you got to like type it in a bunch of times. So instead you had kind of the phone tree of, hey, you got to call the next person. So, that was something you saw then. But I think the biggest thing along the lines of what you're kind of, mentioning or alluding to is he's 100% present in what's important at that time. And if it's practice and a certain detail he's focused in on, boom, he's there. But then if there's a break in practice where it's the focus or the teaching point time for another assistant coach, he has no problem stepping aside for 5 minutes and talking to the grad student coach at the other end of the baseline, because they understand they're all teaching towards the same point. And then that goes along the lines of, when he leaves practice, he doesn't take everything with him. I mean, he understands, like, better than any coach I've seen around at the college level, and I've met quite a few through my broadcasting and just friendships I have. He understands that you can't leave practice mad at 5:30 p.m. about a mistake that was made at practice at 3:15. It's done. It's over. You can get that focused and detail worked out tomorrow with the player or the assistant coach. There's no point in grinding on it 24 hours a day.